not being scared anymore. I don't even know where to start to tell you about all this mess I find myself in. I will give you the basics, and anything else you may need to know, just please ask me. I need some guidance as I don't know what to do. I feel I'm losing my mind. Found out this weekend that wife has been having an affair for months with an ex-BF who is a war veteran. I have not confronted her yet, and I'm not sure what to do. We've been married for 5 years, have a 3-year-old son. I love my wife and don't want to lose her or our marriage. I'm losing it. I'm really at loss here. Please bear with me as I'm very confused right now. I can't describe the stress and pain I'm going through. I found out yesterday morning, wife was on the shower, her laptop was open, and I tried to check my email. Hers was opened and I came across the emails. My marriage is not in great shape, no bonding in almost a year, can't even touch her. But besides the physical issue, what is huge? Nothing major. The ex-BF war vet, they dated for 8 years. They broke up in 2011. Since then they have been friends. I met him and I became his friend as well. He has been deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan multiple times through the years. They have always been in contact. He would call her from there telling her about all the war horrors he was going through, and they would cry together, emails, videos. I have always been aware of this. After all, we were just all friends and we were helping him to go through the hell he was going through over there. I have always been in contact with him as well, through emails. He has now been back home, been discharged from the army and suffers from PTSD. He is divorced. They've been in constant contact, via emails I would say since January 2021. Before that the emails are normal, like the ones between him and me. The emails are pretty heavy. Have always loved you, want to be together, want to make a life, for we can't live without you, and the likes. My wife has been distant but nothing really major. I don't think it got physical because since the EA started, I believe January this year, they have not seen each other. I really need some guidance here. I feel I am losing my mind. I printed the emails out. I wanted to get advice before confronting her. Tomorrow is her day off. I will confront her tomorrow. Only found this website today and been reading, trying to figure out this mess. I've been having a hard time getting my thoughts together and knowing which points bring up to her. I'm shocked by all this. I intend to confront her early tomorrow morning. This is eating me inside. Well, she was on the phone with him, so I just went ahead and confronted her. Couldn't keep it inside anymore. She just started crying and how sorry she is, but does not want to give him up. They love and need each other. I'm shacking and I feel I can just throw up. How could they do this to me? What the hell? She went to the bedroom and closed the door, but I can hear her talk. I'm pretty sure with him. So know what? What do I do now? I will start looking for a lawyer tomorrow so I can discuss my options. I really don't want to get a divorce. I want to work this crap out. I want my family together. We both own the house 50-50 legally. I can't ask her to leave. What a mess I'm in. Should I confront him? After all, he was such a friend. His father is a reverend and he comes from a very religious family, although he no longer believes in God. Yes, she works. I'm going to look for the 180 and read it up. Never thought I would go through something like this. She is still locked in the room, probably talking to him. I want to confront him, I really do. Not sure what will change or not, but come on, I've been here for this guy. I want to know what he has to tell me. I will talk to her and put my foot down. Also, we'll start exposing this crap to her family and his family tomorrow. This is a nightmare. Wife is not willing to go to NC, just told me that if it's what I want we can go ahead, sell everything 50-50. We both own the house and assets, and go our separate ways. They very sorry, but they really in love and want to go ahead and be happy. They deserve it. I'm going to follow your advice and will ignore her. No talk, nothing. This is really a nightmare. I'm also going to call my dear friend. I want to hear from him. Just got into wife's email chat account. The chats from this last 2 hours are awful. Seems that confronting her just escalated the affair. They are moving it to become a physical affair. I can't believe I'm going through this. They talking about making love, being inside her. It feels like knives all over my body. What the hell? I feel numb. We have a 3-year-old. He has been 3 states away staying with his brother, is moving back to his home 1 hour away this week. I don't want my son near OM. He suffers from severe PTSD and was or is on medication. I won't go into details for obvious reasons, but this guy went through and did some horrible things while deployed over there. I do not want my son near him. He is moving back this week. I just found out this. He has been 3 states away since he was discharged. Can't believe I find myself in this situation. I wish there were some hope of saving my marriage, but you are probably right and the chances are close to none. I'm going to wait another hour or two and going to start making phone calls. I will expose to both their families, friends, and anyone I can think of. I also talked with the OM. He was apologetic. Sorry for the pain is causing me, but wants to make this easier for everyone. Loves my wife. Always has. That's why his marriage didn't work. If wasn't for my wife, would have just wanted to die over there. Can't live without her. I don't need her, but he does, and we should deal with this as adults. I was really friends with this guy. Really cared about him and his service. This all seems just a horrible nightmare. I just can't believe I'm in this position. I spent pretty much all day making calls exposing this crap. Not much luck with her side of the family. It's all my fault. Both their friends think I'm wrong exposing and don't want to get involved. I still trying to get a hold of his side of the family. I did find some information I had no idea about, but that is very telling about all this and what a fool I have been. So apparently while over there was my wife's picture. He carried on his wallet to the point the soldiers on his unit thought she was his wife. Also, he was wounded there a few times and my wife was always contacted by the army. He gave her contact instead of his wife's contact. It also seems that was this type of stuff, more the fact he was leaning on my wife for support, that led to his divorce. Even if back then was platonic on his side, it's no longer the case. I will keep trying to get a hold of his family. I'm going to try to find his ex-wife's contact and will contact her. You guys are right, it's worth to see what she knows. I closed the joint account. Was basically an account we used to pay bills every month and had there a few $1,000s as emergency money. Not anymore. I talked with a lawyer who basically advised me to put the house and assets to sell and see if it gives her a reality check. She will get 50% of everything, but still he told me sometimes it shakes the DS and gives them a dose of reality. As far as my son, he thinks my best shot is joint custody. She is a fantastic mom, and the fact our son is very young makes it very unlikely that I will get full custody. I can then negotiate the around my son. I intend to talk to her tonight and see where she stands. Well, I was able to reach his father and sister. His father is a reverend and will talk with both other man and my wife. Other man doesn't believe in God anymore and his father is not very hopeful but wants to give it a try. His sister told me that they have always pined after each other, that is wrong they involved me and his ex in this, but that they always have wanted each other, and all this year's other man has always wanted my wife back. I called his ex and left a message. Hopefully she will call me back. I don't think there's much I can do to save my marriage anymore. ex-wife just called me and told me something along the same lines, to just let her go. They really have pined after each other for all this years. His wife told me during their marriage was a platonic relationship. She could never find anything to indicate more, but that never got over my wife. He had an affair with my wife while engaged to her. This before I met my wife. Cried on his wedding day cause wanted her put his life insurance while in Iraq in my wife's name. Carried her picture on his wallet like if she was his wife. Had all the pictures they took while dating all over his bed over there. The other soldiers in his unit really thought she was his wife. Gave my wife's contact as the contact to the military. Withhold bonding from his wife. Always confided in my wife about everything he was going through over there instead of taking to her, and the list goes on. I feel like such a fool. Tonight, I will talk to her and put my foot down. Wife saw today, claims they only cuddled and kissed right. That they couldn't make love felt really bad for me. I'm really honored for such respect and consideration. Serious. Well, we agreed to start working on the divorce papers. We'll start selling all assets and put the house and property to sell. Like you all pointed out, there's not much I can do at this point to stop this crap from happening. She had a glow of happiness all over her face. Her eyes were shining when she talks about just cuddle with him. I feel sick to my stomach and I could bet they had slept together. I will only talk to her about our son and the selling of the house and assets. I will go hard with the 180. I checked their chats after they saw each other yesterday, and it seems she told me the truth about they not bonding yet, but what I read I would say they will very soon. They in fantasy land 100%. Asked wife about getting married and he wants her to have his kids and a whole bunch of other crap. Too painful to read. It's like they are living outside of reality. I can't even explain it. They also don't know that I exposed it, but they will very soon I guess, and his father didn't call them yet. We talked this morning about the divorce. She does want joint custody. She is in no way willing to give up custody. I talked to my lawyer, and if we agree to everything, an uncontested divorce takes 60 days. If I decide to fight for full custody, that I will very likely lose at this point. It will take more than a year. My lawyer advised me to agree to the joint custody. Get as much visitation days with my son as I can get and use that to keep an eye what is going on, and at any signs of trouble immediately seek custody. He thinks I have a much better chance of getting it then. Wife also thinks I want full custody to force her to stay with me. We're going to start selling the assets and put the house for sale, and who knows, maybe this will bring her back to reality. I also intend us to file this week. I want her to see I mean business. While I'm devastated, could barely sleep and eat, she is happy. For the first time in a long time, she is happy. I'm going hard 180 and have not talked to her since this morning about the divorce and don't intend to. It's breaking me inside, but I will stick to it. And my wife by the matter don't think they are doing anything wrong. They sorry, but I shouldn't make this any harder, but in his mind we can still be friends. I almost feel like if I'm the one who lost my mind. I just told him to go X himself. My wife complained that I hurt his feelings by denying him my friendship. I'm the one who is cruel. We're going to the lawyer together tomorrow and get it done. Better get it done now than when she decides it's everything my fault and decides to get vindictive. So, it's a Pia now. I thought I would vent here instead of exploding to her face. The thing is, we haven't had any bonding, any physical contact for almost a year. When I think about it, I cannot think of any time since we got married that we did indeed had slept together without her just lying there, and now she is having all this crazy time with this other man, even bought some dirty stuff to wear. Do you know how many times she did this for me? Never ever. So yes, I'm feeling very bitter right now. For the life of me I can't understand how it's possible I've been such a fool all this time. Wife is not willing to give up custody or to move out. I would love to drag this as much as I possible through the courts and make their life a hell. The thing is, if I do that, it will be hell, and until the house is sold, we will be living together. At this point, she is playing nice and going along with selling everything in a 50-50 basis and willing to share custody. If on the other hand I decide to drag this out, she can refuse good deals for selling the house, and we will be stuck living together for a long time. Mentally, I can't handle it. I have no proof, but I strongly believe she is trying to get pregnant. I won't be able to watch her around the house pregnant with someone else's child. I would also be expending financial resources that I believe I will need at some point in the future to get full custody of my son. You are all right that they probably had planned this long ago. He has been out of state for this past year, but like some of you said, they very likely had this planned all along to when he would come home. I'm trying to keep my dignity and my sanity for myself and my son. We agreed this morning that all conversations will be just about the divorce procedures and our son. We will also come up with some sort of agreement tonight about sharing the house. I don't want to deal with her around here. I want to take one floor and demand she takes the other. I can't look at her. I did expose to everyone, but nothing really came out of it. Wife and OM don't care, and no one really wished to get involved. We own everything together. Legally, it will be split 50-50 as far as custody goes at this point. I will lose, and I do need to save the resources I will have to fight for my son when I can really win. I live in a no-fault state, and I can bash her in court as much as I want. It will not be accomplished anything at this point. If I drag it, it will take about a year, no more than that. I don't want to live in this hell for a year. Other way, in 2 months we can be done, and I can work on myself and my sanity and have a decent home for my son and to fight for him when the time comes. At the first hint of anything going on, I will seek full custody. Her life will be a mess by then, and I will be stable and able to win in court. I still love her, but I don't want her anymore. The sight of her disgusts me. At this point, I will not get custody. I can fight now, lose my sanity and money I can use when I really can win, and I strongly believe this will happen. I will be able to keep an eye on my son and what is going on much better if I just let her go and agree to shared custody. I don't want her back. OM friends have his back. My wife's friends don't want to get involved or already believe I'm the monster. No one really cares. One thing this is showing me is that people lost all sense of right and wrong. I want to agree to shared custody where I will very easily have access to my son and know what is going on. I will be able to protect him better, and when the time comes, seek full custody with proof of her being an unfit mother. Right now, I don't have that. The affair is not enough legally to get full custody or say that she is a bad mother, not at least in court. Everything we own is in both our names. No matter what, she will get 50-50. She has her own money and job. It's not fair, but it's my reality. She doesn't want the house. She will not move for court reasons and custody reasons, but she has no intentions of moving in with him here. She wants everything sold and her share of the money. I want everything sold as well so I can get my own place and have a stable home for my son. I'm done with her, and as fast as we get done with this, the better. She will screw it, and I will then have the resources and stability to get full custody. Divorce was filed today. We agreed that custody will be shared. Our son will stay a week with me, a week with her. We also had a talk this morning. I told her how I feel about OM's PTSD and our son. She told me if it ever becomes an issue, she will leave our son with me, that she would never put him at risk. She did sound sincere, and about this I believe her. I'm done with drinking. I haven't been on a good place for this last couple of days. I think I'm coming out of my own fog and realizing it's really over. I don't know if this is normal, but every passing day is like it hits me stronger. Not only that I'm getting divorced, but that my whole marriage was a lie. It feels like dead inside, and I'm really lost right now. I went dark on her. She is on the first floor. I'm on the second, and besides talk about anything related to our son and selling the house and stuff, I am going dark on her. Not a word, a look, nothing. It sucks. See their happiness all over Facebook. Friends posting congratulations. Congratulations for what? Destroying our family. What is wrong with people? It's like there's no right or wrong anymore. A married woman advertises she is trying to get pregnant from someone who is not her husband, and people's response is congratulations. What on earth is going on in the world? This is a nightmare, and I just want to wake up. And yes, I still love her, would still take her back if she would change her mind. I feel I'm losing my sanity. I've been keeping myself away from Facebook and all the drama that comes along with it. I found out tonight that OM has cancer. I don't know for how long my wife knows about it, but may explain the rush to get the divorce done with. Despite everything, I feel sad for him, and after everything he already went through, I would never wish him something like this. I wish none of this had happened and I could be here for my friend. Well, I found out about the cancer yesterday when I checked their chat conversation. Other man and my wife were discussing chemotherapy. I made a few calls trying to find out more, and my bro-in-law ended up telling me other man has leukemia and is starting chemotherapy this week. Wife does not want me to know about this. According to my brother-in-law, she thinks I will be happy and be cruel to the other man. I don't know this woman, but she doesn't know me either. She thinks what? I would call and make fun of him or something. It's ridiculous. Og, you bring a good point I had honestly not thought about. I'm going to check your link. I want to hope my wife is aware of all this and any possible dangers of a pregnancy. I'm not going to say anything. I don't know if she knows I found out or not, but she will not hear it from me. I'm not talking to her unless it's about our son or selling the house and stuff. We finished cleaning the garage and the basement over the weekend, and she tried to engage me in small talk while we were doing it, but I didn't fell for it. I'm going dark on her. I still love her and would want to work things out, but I'm working to accept the fact she does not, and it's over. STBX and I are going through everything around the house and choosing who gets what. She is not making an issue about anything, and I'm pretty much getting anything I want. May sound petty, but I'm making sure she doesn't get certain things like the pool table that was custom made and cost me a fortune. She will be moving at some point next week, and we will start sharing our son's custody. I didn't plead or beg anything. To be honest, at this point doesn't really matter if she is here or not. The answer machine worked all day. My guess is that they tried to call her cell and she must have been on the operating room all day, so they called the home number. Basically, she is going the extra mile using all her contacts, and people in the medical field who own her favors contacting them about OM's case and looking for different treatments and options. Bill also shared with me she is asking close relatives and friends to get tested in order to help find other man a match for a bone marrow transplant. I didn't tell her anything about what I know, and I won't. So, yeah guys, this is where I stand. I will start IC next week. I think I can use the help. I have both IC and a doctor's appointment for next week. I think I can use the help. Something to sleep will also be very welcome. The truck came by to get her stuff. On the way out, she knocked on my door to talk, just to basically tell me how sorry she is for everything. Never meant to hurt me, but never really loved me, was never able to forget him, and is very sorry to have dragged me along. Hopes one day I can forgive her like many of you said here, and you were right, I was her second choice from the get-go. She also informed me that on Sunday, when she drops our son off, I will have him next week, that she will be out of town for 3 or 4 days and will leave me her flight information and hotel info for case of an emergency with our son, and will also call him every night. I called Bill to try to find out what this is all about. She got other man an appointment with a specialist across country. Other man had his first chemo today, and according to my Bill, the doctors also found a lump on his left lung, but not sure yet what it is. I hope we can just sell the house fast so I can start to rebuild my life. Also too big of a house to be alone. Well, went to the in-laws for Thanksgiving. They kept their invitation despite everything, and was away to spend the day with my son. Strange enough, no one mentioned anything about STBX and other man, and we had a very nice time. STBXW worked, so at the end of the day when she came to pick our son, OM came along. I ignored them, but other man approached me and asked if we could go outside to talk. The only reason I could go outside with him would be to beat the crap out of him, but due to his illness I need to restrain myself. Not going to beat a sick man. STBXW was enraged. I refused to play nice, and afterwards texted me in capital letters, "You better get used to it, cause whether you want or not, he will be my husband. He is part of the family. If you want to be angry at someone, then be it, but be angry at me, not him. He was nothing but nice to you all this years." I will not answer and will just keep ignoring her. I will keep going dark on both of them. I realize that the fact I ignore her and him by the matter does enrage her. What is really good, I don't give a damn about anything any of them may want to tell me. It just doesn't matter. I think in denial land where she now lives, if I play nice and approve of their behavior, then nothing wrong is really going on and we can all just be friends. It's ridiculous. She basically acts like all this is normal, or like we've been divorced a long time and now I'm just not approving her choice for a new husband. I respect his military service and I'm thankful for it, but as a human being I have no respect whatsoever for him. That is very true. I know many vets who never cheated on their partners or backstabbed their friends, who have served our country while still devoted to their partners no matter how far away they were deployed. Well, I think I know why STBX seems to be looking for my approval, and maybe why OM wanted to talk to me last night. Bro-in-law called me to ask if I have checked my Facebook. I have kept myself far away from it. Apparently STBX and OM posted that they are pregnant and are spreading their happiness all over Facebook. This means they must have had slept together before I found out. I mean, after the chats and evidence I found last week, I was positively sure they only had slept together last week, and I'm sure OM moved back also just last week. So my question is it possible if they only had slept together last week she could already know she is pregnant? Bro-in-law will try to find out more from wife's sister. Not that really matters, but this may mean just more lies. When I confronted her, she denied any physical relationship at that point. I'm disgusted. I've been married to this woman. If any good comes out of this is the fact that there's no chance I would ever in any circumstances take her back. Never ever. I just wish I could forget I even met her. Plus would cost me a lot financial. I rather use the money to provide a good life to my son. It would also cause me an amount of stress that at this point I can't deal with. I just want to get the divorce papers signed as fast as possible, sell the house and everything else, and start building a new life for myself. The good thing is that after this she is gone in my heart. What was filled was the best deal for me at this point. I have half of the custody and have free access to my son anytime I want. I'm able to keep an eye on him and what is going on in his life. Go for a custody war will not accomplish anything right now. If nothing else, I will be seen as trying to seek revenge by the courts with no other evidence other than she is a B, what sadly is not enough, and I may harm a future case for custody when I will indeed have evidence. Plus, my son is very attached to my STBX. I also don't want to put him through any sort of court hearings or anything similar. I may be wrong, but like many of you pointed out, my STBX's future doesn't look good. I will save my financial resources to that time, plus with the free access I have now, I can document anything that may happen to if necessary. Use as evidence when the time comes. The divorce agreement that was filled is the best I could get right now. I'm doing much better than I thought. Started IC, went to the doctor and got my gym membership back. Also went crazy shopping over the weekend. Good to take advantage of the good prices. Some of our assets were already sold and I'm looking forward for everything, including the properties we own, to be sold much faster than I thought. The house will be much tougher, but that's okay. I will use my half of the cash that I will be getting from everything else to get a new home. Despite everything, I'm feeling more confident about the future. I guess I'm leaving my own fog. Yay, I talked with my lawyer about it. He says STBX no longer lives with me. Divorce was filed, and by the time the baby will be born, divorce will long be done with. If my wife by any bizarre chance would try to get me to pay anything for this child, a DNA test would clear me. If we would then would be a different story, as the child would be born into the marriage, but that won't happen. I can't see any circumstances where I would take her back. Hell no. OM had lung surgery to remove the lumps on his lung Monday morning. I heard he is doing well. I don't wish him ill, but feel indifferent to his situation. I have had so many of the red flag moments, it's incredible. I would say it goes as far as our first date. Love does blind you, and I've been blind all this years. I won't go as far as saying he was always there, but certain they never ever let go of each other or the desire of being together. Other man's wife and I were just in the middle for the ride. There's so many episodes of what should have been huge red flags, including in our wedding day. Like I said, it goes back to our first date. My wife was the saddest bride I ever saw, shacking, crying. Only cheered up after that damn call from Iraq, and nope, fool that I didn't saw any red flags. I thought she was just nervous, anxious. The friend made her feel better. There's so many stuff, so many episodes, stories. I could write a book about it. Next time I will be able to spot it from the get-go and just call it quits early on. The sad thing is, I'm sure as time goes by, I will just keep remembering more and more red flags. What a ride. OM called me this evening, told me about his cancer, STBX's pregnancy, begged my forgiveness and how very sorry he really is, that I still his best friend, took all responsibility for the affair upon himself. Funny, my wife does the same, begged me to forgive her and to, if he doesn't make it, for me to take her back and raise his child, to look after STBX and his child, that if I want I can hate him but not to hate her or the child. I was not expecting any of this, so caught me by surprise, and I've been between feelings of hate, sadness, pain, rage, sorrow, a roller coaster. I told him I don't wish him any ill, but that my STBX will have to face the consequences of her action, and that may very well be raise a child alone. I know I have said here I wouldn't take her back, but the truth is that I still love her, and sometimes, for a few seconds, I think about it. Tonight when she came to pick our son, if she had told me she wanted to I would have said yes. I feel weak and I don't want to. I wish there's a way I can get done with this feelings. I want to erase any thoughts of ever taking her back. It's like I go between feelings of extreme anger where I never want to see her face, and then seconds where I would take her back. I told the other man that unless there's an emergency with my son and my STBX can't call me, he should never ever call me again, that I don't have anything to tell him and I'm not his friend. As far as my STBX goes, I went dark on her in the 180. We have only talked about our son. Last night when she came over to pick him, there were a few decisions she wanted me to make about his daycare, and it was it. I have a gut feeling she doesn't know OM called me. I have no intention of discussing anything that is not about our son with her, even about the sale of the house and assets. The lawyer is handling it. Update. Things are going well. We sold all our stock and 2 of our properties. We will close a deal as a 3rd property is concerned in the next few weeks, and then only the house is left. Not really any good offers have been made, but it's something I already was counting on. Either way is good to have most of it sold and cash in the bank. I'm going to the gym 4 times a week and keeping up with IC. I have good days, bad days, numb days, but I'm surviving. As far as STBX goes, we are getting along just fine. No drama. We just talk with regards to our son and decisions related to him, and we are getting along well. When he is with me, she is always in contact with him, and when he is with her, I'm always in contact with him. The OM is still breathing, but I have had no contact with him and will keep it this way. Wife is also not pregnant long enough that you can see anything, but she has that pregnancy glow all over her. It makes her even more beautiful and attractive than she already is, and maybe I'm just a pervert, but I do still feel attracted to this woman. OM is still holding on. I heard from brother-in-law that he is still doing chemo, and they hope he will get a transplant soon. I'm sure STBX is using all her contacts and influence to do whatever they can do save him and finding him a match. She did the same for my mom when she had cancer, so I'm even more certain she must be doing it for OM. I'm just working on myself and being here for my son. I know down the road I will be okay, one day at a time, but I'm surviving and I will be okay. Not really much talking, texting with him in front of me. We never together long enough for OM call or text her. I was by their house the other day, was nearby and decided to see my son. My son wanted to show me his room. OM and I just ignored each other. No talk, no looks, nothing. We acted like if the other doesn't exist and it's how it will always be. Update. Got a call this morning from brother-in-law. OM will be submitted tomorrow morning to a transplant. I'm not sure how I feel about this, if I feel anything at all. There's just this blank on my mind right now. Numb. My STBX takes very good care of him. She is a B, but she does take good care of him. He and her have a very strong bond. He is very connected to her. There's no way she would ever agree with anything than what we have 50-50, and I'm not going to put my son through a court battle. My son is going to therapy. When she moved out that same week, she got him into therapy. I'm going through hell but holding on. My comment: detach yourself from her as much as you can. You deserve a lot better woman than her, and there are plenty.